So I'm using today, Sunday, as a tinker day. Got a little issue. I think I fixed. And one thing I will say about this machine is it is impossible to find parts for. You can see I kinked this, taking this off. There was a valve in here that was stuck, and so I had to take it off. But this was on really tight, and it was really married to this. I didn't see it, and when I went to take this off, it bent. And then over here today, I was taking this off to try and make sure enough air was getting through here, because it's a steam thing. Bent this side too. So it's 1/4-inch pipe, which is 6 millimeters. So I'm just looking for a place to pick up some 1/4-inch pipe, 6 millimeter, and then I'll just fabricate my own. It's a 90-degree angle from here to here. It's not real rocket science. It does have a nipple soldered on here, but I love soldering, so I can solder. What I'm gonna do is, this looks like something, the end of this nipple, shit, I should have taken a picture of that. The end of this nipple looks a little different from what I can get at the stores here in Colorado. So probably what I'm going to do is desolder the nipple off of here, put it on the new pipe that I fabricate, and solder it on that new pipe. So that'll be exciting. I might do a video on that, because yeah, soldering is as bad as people think it is. It really isn't. You just got to follow some rules, you know, that are all out there on the internet, by the way. It's not a mystery. And you can save yourself a shit ton of money if you know how to solder your own stuff. So yeah, this is the insides of the Aria Bezzera PID. And I was just turning it on after getting this pipe put back on. Blew some air through it, made sure. Seems to have good airflow. Everything's booting up fine. We're at 197. Looking for leaks at the bottom. I was having a trouble with that too. That's what started this whole thing, is it was leaking like a sieve down here. When I would have it off, like when it would cool down for some reason, come back the next morning, just water everywhere. And I know it wasn't leaking from the drain, because I looked into that. The drain was fine. So it turned out these valves were kind of stuck, and when I got inside to some of these valves, particularly this one, they were all kind of in a stuck position. And then I read a manual from an E61 that was similar, and lubed up the parts that were supposed to be lubed, particularly in this. I took this apart, this E61 brew head, just took it all apart, looked at all the areas that needed to be lubed. There was an area in here, there's a cam in here, it needs lube, that was bone dry. Took this apart again. This was pretty dry, and it shouldn't have been. So went in there, lubed that up. Took this apart down here. A little tricky. I figured it out. Lubed what I needed to in here, per what I saw on the other E61s that Bezzera has. And it seems to be running fine. It's just that leak thing now is the only thing. But I reseated these bent tubes, and then I paid particular attention to make sure that these little soldered nipple things were centered properly. And then I put a little plumber's tape right around here, but not getting into there. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I didn't see plumber's tape on any of this, and they probably don't use it on that. So, just for posterity's sake, I don't think it's going to hurt nothing. Yeah, here's your tour of this thing kind of apart. I didn't take it all the way apart. But I assume with as many moving parts as this has, that I'll be doing that. There we go, see? Nice and little flush. Everything seems to be working good. This steam is unbelievable. It really is a goddamn shame that I'm a vegan, typically a vegan, because that's just like a blowtorch. Good Lord. If people do bring milk over, I will use it. So I was able, I had a friend of mine, Tommy, that came over. He bought some milk, left it here. So I steamed that up, and yeah, seconds, less than 10 seconds. It was ridiculous. Got it up to 165, and did really well. So if you like steamed drinks, steamed milk, etc., this is a fantastic steamer. Oh yeah, and I guess the other thing, never mentioned, but this came with these black plastic knobs. They were awful. I did not like the feel of them at all, especially for $2 this machine cost. I was like, get out of here. So went looking for knobs, couldn't find them anywhere, of course. So then I just measured the thread on these. And just went on the internets, found fell on Etsy that did these. Fantastic. And then something with blue something. It's a Irish website. Sometimes they got some cool stuff. Blue Star, I think is what it's called. Blue Star Espresso, out of Dublin. And they had only 2 of these in stock. They had this one and this one in stock. So I took them, and they had Bezzera branded on them. So I figured they'd work, and they did. They just weren't as good as this fella on Etsy. And the ones on Etsy were about half the, no, they weren't. The ones on Etsy were comparable price, we'll say that. But way better quality on the ones on Etsy, to the point where I had to go and sand these down, smooth them out more with some high grit, and put a little oil from the butcher block oil. If you know me, you know I love that stuff, and to match these. So that's what I did.